Welcome back to Satisfactory. Now, I should, of course, do those various things that I need to do to disable the fog. It's just annoying. Here we go. Since the last episode, I have been hard at work with the refinery. But before we go into what I've been doing here, I also went hard drive hunting, which netted me a few rather important recipes. In the order that I got them, I first of all got the steamed copper sheet, which I'm not going to use, I think. But then I got one of the more important ones, diluted packaged fuel, which is a very important recipe if you want to have a maximum efficiency for your fuel. Then I got rubber cable. Not going to use that one, I think. I got electrode circuit board. That one is good, but I am currently happy with the one that I'm using. But the electrode circuit board is probably the best of the circuit board alternate recipes. If I don't remember wrong, it uses... No, it isn't the best one. The best one is the silicone circuit board, since it uses silica. I got fused wire, which is this one. Slightly meh. I did get the adhered, whatever, iron plate. Not very good. The stitched iron plate is the definite best alternate recipe for the reinforced iron plates. I did get recycled plastic, which is one of the things that we're going to be setting up in this episode. The recycled plastic and the recycled rubber alternate recipes are among the best recipes in the game. I got quick wire cable. I think that one is in regular constructor, to be honest. It's just using quick wire to make cable instead of wire. If you have plenty of Caterium, I suppose it's a good recipe, but I'm not sure why you would trade one of the rare materials for something that you can make from even iron. You can make iron wire and then convert that into cable. But I guess there might be some specific instances where that makes sense. Then I got the infused uranium cell recipe, which is one of the better ones. Although I'm not about to start making nuclear just yet. But the infused uranium cell, it's apparently better than the regular one. This one is encased, takes 40 pellets and 9 concrete. I'm not sure why this one is better. Maybe because of the... No, that doesn't even make sense to me. It uses less uranium pellets, so that's probably it. Since there's only 3 uranium nodes in the entire game, that might be it. And finally I got the silicone circuit board, which I already mentioned, which I'm probably going to change to in the main factory. Okay, so what have I been doing here? Well, first of all, I redid the piping. As you can see, it's no longer spaghetti pipes. It's a long, straight line with things coming out, things being heavy oil residue. And I also added 6 rubber manufacturers or rubber refineries. So these ones are producing rubber, but I haven't taken the rubber out yet. Then at the very end of this line you have these 2 refineries that are making packaged water. Now I set up a temporary constructor somewhere up there, you can see it there. in the distance. That's making the empty canisters. But inside this loop, you only need that many canisters. I stuck 1200 in here. I'm not sure if that's even necessary, but apparently it seems to be not that far off, since there is 113 left. But these use canisters and water. I have a water pump down there. I've done also extensive rearranging of the pipes over there, thanks because of that. So I have 2 of these, and they are directly connected to these. Stop climbing up everything. And these are making diluted packaged fuel. And this is a very, very good recipe. You get 60 packaged fuel per minute for 30 heavy oil residue and 60 packaged water. And those... Stop climbing up everything! Those, of course, just output the packaged fuel and send them directly over to these 2 refineries, which are unpackaged fuel. So these create the fuel fluid for the pipes. This is the pipes that have the fuel. And they then send the empty canisters back into the container that I have here. So it's an everlasting recycling thing where I don't need to add any kind of containers into the loop, because it's going to be using the ones that are in there over and over and over again. Now we have fuel in the pipeline here. So one of the things that I do have, or I don't have to, but I need to, is to add the means probably that this thing needs to move, because I don't think... Wow, that is actually on the same angle. That is impressive. Let's go up to height 4 then, and do that. That's too far away. Can I have that vertical, please? Still too far away. There we go. That's better. Let's carefully remove these. The pipe is now on height 4. I don't think I need to add a pump. I think it should be fine. Is this actually on the same... Is it actually? Well, that's a very nice benefit. Should clean up these things as well. The stackable pipe supports now stack on regular stackable conveyor poles, which means that we can pretty up things a bit. Let's do that as well while we're at it. I don't know if this is the necessary length of the pipelines, but as long as I don't need the space for anything, it's fine. To default mode, then create the pipeline. Not even sure what this power pole here is doing here, but it is at the correct segment. Something. Now this thing here, I have to check my spreadsheet. So we are adding in the heavy oil residue, which means that we need 1.5 refineries making petroleum coke. And currently 2.25. But I'm not sure if that's the correct ratio, to be honest. This takes 40 per minute. So 80. It actually is the correct one. That is 90. And then we're adding another 60. Checking. Yep, we're adding another 60, which is 1.5. It is now spinning. I'm guessing that means I need to set this to 100%, which should put it back to 40 per minute, which is 120. And we are now dealing with 60 plus 90 is 150. I do need to set up another refinery at least. I need to be making petroleum coke, and we probably need to upgrade the belt as well. We need to have merge. Yeah, it seems to be at the everlasting problem of is this correct? No, that is not correct. Okay, so look at the arrows. Should be on that angle then. Conveyor lift Mark II. Why doesn't that work? A bit too close. I need to remove those. Two, and like so. So now we're dealing with 40, 80, 160. So if I put this to 75%, I'm thinking that we should be dealing with 150. At 90 per minute, which should blow that to 30. And then the next challenge, I call it a challenge, is to connect that up. I think that is the correct angle for it. It's into vertical. That's a very interesting pipe, I must confess. Do I need that? I don't think so. I think the pipe can go all the way. Yes, it can. No need to have that when it isn't necessary. And let's connect that up to power as well. Speaking of power, we're doing quite well on that. But most of the factory is in hibernation mode anyways, so that's much of the reason for that. Now we get to the final part of this process, which is of course the... why aren't you doing anything? You're supposed to make packaged fuel. No, actually, you're supposed to unpackage fuel. There we go. The final part of this is... I'm not sure where I should put those refineries. can't align it to that one because the refinery will interfere with the pipe. I'm going to align it to that one. I'm not going to make a biomass burner. I want a little bit of distance between here. Will that suffice? Because we're going to make recycled plastic here. That's why we need the fuel. You might have thought that I wanted to have generators, but that's not at all on my agenda. But I did hint at the fact that recycled plastic is one of the recipes that was crucial for this episode earlier, so you're probably not surprised. So recycled plastic takes 30 rubber and 30 fuel per minute. And we are producing 120 fuel per minute. And in these rubber factories, we are producing 120 as well. Of course, the logistical challenge here will be to get the rubber out, because I might have been a tiny bit optimistic about the distance here, but it's going to be fine. So we need 4 refineries. I need to go visit the car because I'm all out of copper sheets, which is not at all surprising considering the vast amount of pipes that I've been building. So we want 4 refineries. And this one is already set, so let's set the 3 rest of them into alternate recycled plastic. And now I have a very specific way that I'm doing this. So it should that one, then on this one. It should be touching the black line. There we go. Still be touching the black line. Shouldn't be in vertical mode, be in default. That's a very interesting pipe, but that's not the pipe we wanted. I'm a bit amused that you can do that, actually. That was not the correct location. That looks more like it. Then that one up as well. Now this is a bit finicky, so I might... going to change it. I found the... but I never remember exactly where it is, so I might have to do this a few times. Oh, that's straight enough. It's not straight enough. That's straight enough. That looks good. There, I think. Yep. So I've done it a few times now, which is why I'm able to do it quickly, but give you a hint. What I'm doing is that I'm aligning it. If you look at the where it now connects or intersects with the indicator thingy there, I use the white area of the junction to just see that it needs to be like that-ish, but of course on the other side, and when the pipe is uninhabited by this junction. Okay, so that means we can connect up the fuel from this to that. This is probably not going to look pretty. I'm not sure if, even if I go in vertical... Oh, it doesn't look that bad actually. Then we get that issue. So I need to build 1, 2, 3, and 4. Connect that to that. I don't think we need any pumps. Nope. The pipes are filling up. Not sure if the flow rate is what I would call excellent. No, that's good. I'm happy with that. And then we need the rubber, of course. Now, I'm not sure if I want to... I probably do. Can't raise it up very high, but that's a merger. And of course the everlasting issue, getting it to bind here. Is that too close? That's a bit strange. Ah, no, it isn't, because I've built that merger based on that side. So this merger should be based on this side. Okay, I'm getting a tiny green line there. So if I place that like that, I believe this is producing how much? 20 parts per minute. Should be able to use regular conveyor lifts here. Good. Of course, it's going to be impossible to walk here, but okay, so I'm getting this small green line. Hopefully that means that we are in alignment. Yes, we are. One, two, three. A lift. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that I could connect that straight up. And we'll get a straight line. Indeed. So, that definitely helps in my little mischievous plan here. No, that's the wrong line. We want this one to go like so. I still want a small line. E. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now that should enable us to do that, and that. Do I have enough reinforced iron plates? No. I do not have enough reinforced iron plates, so I need to go back and pick up that in the base. Wait, do I have any in the container behind here? No. Clean that out. Oh, we could just take the hypertube back. The everlasting issues of not having what you want. Those autosaves are really getting long, tedious, and it's quite annoying when they happen when you're trying to align a pipe junction. I should fix this hypertube. Going down and then up again. It's silly. I've seen some very creative hypertube work on Reddit and YouTube. Someone had made a insane hypertube catapult that catapulted the player halfway across the world, and he landed safely inside another hypertube that then ejected him out into the base. Wow. I don't think I'm going to be experimenting with that anytime soon, but it was a very interesting circle-like contraption where you had the hypertubes in a circle, and then when you had reached a certain threshold of speed, it will then catapult you away. Yeah, I don't need any of that. I need a couple of these. I can put that one back and put this in my inventory. I have enough concrete. I could use a few iron plates. Take another stack of those. I could definitely use some iron rods. Probably one more. Concrete. I think I have enough of that. I'm good on the wire as well. I have enough cable. Can grab 2 more stacks of copper sheets. Just in case. Because I'd rather not have to run all the way back here. I haven't done anything else. I went hard drive hunting and waited for all the alternate recipes to finish researching, which is 10 minutes each. And then just started planning out the refinery, so... But I didn't want to do the entire refinery in a recording. We're already 27 minutes into this one, and yeah. It takes time to plan it, and I'd rather have this as 1 episode than 3. The water extractors are slightly annoying to me. I hope that they do something about the alignment thing, like snapping and things like that. It would be very nice to have some kind of snapping on the water extractors. Let's just park here. These seem to be refining now. There is no heavy oil in the pipe. Is it too high? Apparently so. I have room for a pump there. Sure. Because if I don't, that might be problematic. Would that work? Need a purple. Upgrade you. No, it doesn't do anything. It might change when I start using the rubber, so let's just see if this pipe gets saturated when I start using the rubber. To change back to 1 for the time being. And we have an save again. I could probably change it from 5 to 10 minutes, but I don't want to. These. No movement yet. And I'm transporting 120 rubber, so let's go to conveyor belt Mark II. Then we have to make a splitter. Let's get back to having a splitter on 4 and 5. Too close. No, that is actually perfect. I also can't wait until they add lights, because nights are dark and the flashlight is annoying. It's better than nothing, but it is annoying. I keep forgetting to turn it off during daytime, and then I get what's it called? Not blinded, but something akin to blinded by the very strong light. I need to remember to connect the belts from the lifts. These, and these. I think this will suffice because it only uses 30 per minute. And we need 2 conveyor, 2, that to there, that to there, this one to there. Now we have heavy oil flowing, good. So the final thing we need then is power poles. I've made a system for the power poles. They are always on the same location as these. Let's connect this one up to that one and upgrade this power pole to a Mark II. Then we can start connecting up the refineries to our grid. If everything in my factory started working all at once now, I would be in serious trouble. And now they are being filled up, and we have started building or manufacturing recycled plastic. 60 parts per minute, which means that we are now making 240 recycled plastic. We're going to need quite a bit of plastic for the next step that we need to do in the factory, and to give an indication of what I'm going to use this plastic for, let's see here, manufacturer. I think the supercomputer requires 52.5 plastic per minute. So that's one of the recipes that require plastic. I think there was another one as well. Batteries, but I don't think I'm going to make those. There was one more. But I do not remember which one. the turbo motors, we need more rubber for that, so I should also factor that in. The heat sinks, what do they require? They also require rubber. 70 per minute. Oh gosh. 10 per minute. Okay, so, well, I don't need more than one factory making turbo motors. The only thing that I know that uses turbo motors at the moment is Mark III miners, I believe. Let's have a look. The update3.satisfactory.greedy.dev is a very nice site to look at the items. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the turbo motors. Yeah, they are only used currently for building Mark III miners, and they require 5 per Mark III miner, so I guess I could stash them into a sink to get tickets if I want. This is an end game recipe, so they should provide an extensive amount of coupons per item. Then you have the radio control units. I've forgotten to research those actually. Should go do that. The one thing that I should do though is get that plastic into something. I want to move these containers to the other side of this rock formation and then belt them out behind here instead. This area behind here is not something that I'm using very often. This is done. I don't think I'm going to need more of these empty canisters, but I will move them somewhere else. But for now, let's drive back to home and get those radio control units so that I can see what they require as well. I might have done the plastic production. Why not? It's a production chain game. Overproducing is part of the fun. I'm also considering using the paint guns to color the pipes so that I know what's in the pipe without having to look at the indication or indicators. Here we are. I probably should demonstrate that hazmat suit. Several people suggest that I could go into the hypertube to demonstrate what it looks like, but there is an even easier way. Let's put it on. And well, it doesn't appear to look like anything different. Let's start up the research. I think it's under quartz. So we need 100 crystal oscillators and 200 alclad aluminium sheets. I have the aluminium here, but I don't have the oscillators, so I think I have to go pick that up. I had some in the back. No, I have 98. It should probably be full, so we can just do that. Quartz. Oh, right. Why did I put those outclad aluminium sheets? Ah, crap, I left them at the refinery. Is there any in here? Nope. Okay. Oh, gotta go pick them as well then. Can combine that then with my plan of running or driving through the hypertube to see if the hazmat suit makes any difference visually. Let's put it on. Have very baggy pants, but I'm not sure if it's actually showing any kind of graphic here. Let's take it off again and see if there is any difference when we drive back. Okay, so I have very baggy pants now as well, but they seem to be more brown than with the hazmat suit, so I guess it does make some kind of difference. Radio control unit, start research. That means we have completed everything in the MAM. Is it produced in an assembler? Apparently not. Let's make a manufacturer and have a look at what it requires. Radio control unit. Okay, so we're going to need extensive amounts of rubber, since we need more heat sinks for this. And I don't even know what the radio control unit is for. There is an alternate recipe for it that doesn't require rubber. Instead it uses quartz crystals. But it then requires supercomputer instead. Crystal oscillator. That's a rather nasty upgrade. Since it's only used for making turbo motors, I don't think that I need to use the alternate recipe for that. It also creates... The regular recipe creates 2.5 parts per minute, while the alternate one creates 3.75. It would need more heat sinks, and instead of rubber and crystal oscillators, it would require 1.25 supercomputers per minute, but then it would only require 37.5 raw quartz crystal. So that would be benefit. But I think that with our current production, I'm producing 5.6 computers per minute. So I would have to set up another 2 crystal computers, which means I would have to set up... Oh, God, no. No, I think we're just going to go with 1 making supercomputers, so I just need more rubber out at the refinery. Quite a bit of it as well, but that shouldn't be an issue. We can always use the petroleum coke in the power plants, and I am planning on veering off the end of the belt of the petroleum coke that goes to the power plants into an awesome sink, so that even if the power plants fill up, we don't use the power, the rest of the refinery doesn't shut down, because that would be bad. But for now, I think we have definitely reached the end of the episode, so I hope that you enjoyed this little exercise in pipe and belt laying in crisscrossing sections in the refinery. And as always, any comments and questions, feel free to leave them in the comment field. So thank you so very much for joining me, and I will see you all in the next episode.